Hey, it's Amy Brown from the Bobby Bones Show. Join me in supporting St. Jude Children's Research Hospital for a chance to win a trip to meet Megan Maroney at the 2025 iHeart Country Festival in Austin, Texas on May 3rd, hosted by Bobby Bones. We're going to hook you up with tickets, flights, hotel, food credits, and a meet and greet with Megan Maroney. Take action now to support St. Jude and help cure childhood cancer, and you're going to be entered for a chance to win. Visit iHeartCountryTrip.com to learn more.
And we are back.
What it do, Trey?
Man, everything is good. Be rich. Everything is good. I am honored because tonight we're joined by an NFL coaching legend. NFL just not just an NFL legend, period, but a football legend. A football legend. Someone who spent some time here in the city of Atlanta, spent a few years here in the city of Atlanta, but he did our heart since he was a part of the Atlanta Falcons, and he helped, mentor and coach up some of our favorite players. But he's played a big role in just football as a whole, and in the NFL. So, without further ado, if we could give it up for none other than Coach Terry Robiskie.
What's up, guys? What's up, guys? What's up? I'm with you. How you guys doing, man? How's it going?
Man, it's going great, man. I'm glad you was able to join us, man.
I'm happy, man. I'm happy you guys had me on. It was great to see you guys at the game, and you guys, say, hey, man, let's get on. And I tell you what, man, I came down there. I went to the New Orleans Saints game. I saw you guys there. Watched the game, had a blast. The people went crazy, and of course they beat my hometown, the Saints, my hometown folks. But it was great. I loved it. I had a great time. But man, listen, it was so much fun. I decided to stay, and then I went to the game Thursday night.
Oh, you did?
And,
Okay.
Yeah, I went to the one Thursday night, man. And I'll tell you what, Raheem's my dude. I mean, I love Rod. That's my boy. I'm so happy, man. It was such a great feeling to sit up in the stands and watch the people just lose it. I mean, just the fire in that city, the excitement, the joy they got right now. Is what it's all about. I've never really seen it from that side, but to sit down and watch it and look at it and see some guys are walking out, and I've seen some guys doing the Dirty Bird. I said, oh, the Dirty Bird is back. That Dirty Bird is back,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So it was great. I had a great time, man. They had two really good games, and they won the two games that they're supposed to win, and I'm fired up about it. And like I said, watching my guy Ra do it, it's been a joy. It's been a joy.
Let me ask you, did you and Rod, because I know the NFL community and the NFL just family period, especially the coaching community, it can seem like small, even though it seems big to us on the outside. I'm pretty sure it's small on the inside. Did you and Coach Morris cross paths before his stint in Atlanta? Because he came in Atlanta with Dan Quinn right near the end of your tenure with the Falcons. Am I correct?
Yeah, the thing about it, we had never worked together, but he and I knew each other from the past, coaching against each other, and then he and I, had worked with some mutual friends. He was down there in Tampa working with some people I know down in Tampa, so I got to know him. I got to know him pretty good, and I always tease him, man, because when he came up there with Q, and we had a great time. I had a great time sitting down the hall from him, and we sit down and compare notes and talk about things. And I tell people, man, it's always funny. It's a funny thing. You could be, whatever that is in life, you could be growing up in the backyard playing with your cousin. And if your cousin lay a good one on you, you remember it. Your cousin come across the field, man, and just whack you with one, you remember it. You know what I mean? And I tell Ra, he's the only man I know, man, that I lay in bed at night think about. He blitzed us one time. We was in a left formation. I was with the Falcons. And we was in a left formation. Now listen, this might be 18 years ago. We were in a left formation. We was in slot left, man. We was in strong left slot, and he blitzed off of the slot. Until this day, I don't know what that blitz was that hit me. It ended up hitting us. He got a sack on us, man, and I think they ended up winning the game. And I can remember him laughing at me after the game. One of those, hey man, I got you. Hey, I got you, right? I got you. And it's always great. It's always great for us in that coaching fraternity, when we know each other, is always great how we kind of get with each other before the game, and we might rib at each other a little bit. Hey, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. You know. And when I was in Atlanta, man, I used to mess with everybody. I was in Atlanta. Every time we would play somebody, I'd go find my boys who was the DB coaches, and we'd have a little side bet. You know, have a little side bet. You know, hey man, I got 100. So Roddy gonna score twice today. Hey man, I got 100, man. And Julio gonna go for 140 today. I'm always making little bets with him, you know, stuff like that, you know. And Ryan and I used to have a little deal every now and then. We'd have little deals and little bets on them. But man, that day there, like I said to you, we coming down in the fourth quarter trying to go down to score, and he hit me with a blitz. He hit us on a blitz, and I still don't know till today how that thing got there. I don't know what that was he designed, but it was something he designed in the back alley for me, and it worked.
Oh,
you know?
wow.
So we got great respect for each other.
And it's great to hear these stories, to get a chance to kind of peek behind the curtain a little bit, like, and hear about the coaching fraternity, and just like you said, being able to get with the DB coaches of the other team and be able to have a chance to talk and network with each other and continue to build that camaraderie, especially for the black coaches that are out there, and fellow black coaches to be able to get together. Like, that's awesome.
Yes, you know what I mean? And it's a big thing. It's a good thing. And, you know, the one thing you find out, and I try to explain to guys all the time, in this fraternity, it's a tight fraternity. You know, it's a tight fraternity. And in the fraternity is a handful of us. At that time, it wasn't as many, but it's a handful of us. And like I told them, man, when we walk out on the field, we're out there to do battle, and I'm out there to beat you. You know, at the end of the day, I'm out there to beat you. It's probably what it is. But at the end of the day, you know, we got to hang in there tight. We got to look out for each other. We got to hold each other's hand. And then we got to realize at the end of the day, and I tell guys all the time, at the end of the day, I don't own the Atlanta Falcons, and you don't own the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You know what I mean? So when this thing is all said and done, the best man's gonna win. We just hug each other, give each other a little kiss on the cheek, and say, "Let's go home." You know, and go home and do what we do. You know, ain't no sense in us sitting down there. I laugh all the time, man. I laugh all the time. I had a coaching friend of mine, a brother that was a good friend of mine, and me and him got in an argument in a meeting one time, and he wanted to beat me. You know, and he jump up, man, and jump across the table. You know, but you know, it's like, you know, it's like back in them old days when they used to say you had a guy who was the fastest draw. You're always gonna go to town somewhere. Somebody want to try you. You know, so I never forget, man. I was in the room. We were sitting in the meeting room, and we were sitting in the meeting room, man, and you know, we started arguing over a play, and it's hard for you to tell me about a play, especially like that play. Because I told them that play was invited, and I think that play was created in like 1958. You know, so it's hard for you to tell me about that play. I've been knowing that play a long time. But anyway, he and I got in a big discussion about it, and man, he come around the table, he wanted to whip the crap out of me, and I think he was waiting for me to jump up and get in his face and start arguing and cussing and fussing. And I just sit at the table. I say, "Hey man, just go ahead and beat. You want to beat me? Go ahead and beat." I said, "Just do me a favor now. Just don't punch me in my eye. You can hit me everywhere else. I don't care. You know what I mean? Hit me everywhere else. Just don't punch me in my eye. Cause I need them." But like I told him, I asked him, I said, "Tell me this, man." I said, and here's what I told him. I said, when we get on the Be Rich and the Waterboyz Show, and them cats talking about me and you fighting, they're on there talking to their crowd. They're talking about us having a fight. Two brothers in the meeting fighting. We in the room fighting on the Jacksonville Jaguars. We don't own a pen, a piece of paper, a T-shirt, a cap. We don't own nothing in this room. But we in there fighting in that room, fighting each other. What are we fighting over? We don't even, I told him, we barely own a piece of the air we breathing. But it's going to be all over the radio, all over TV. We got in a fight and beat up each other. What are we beating each other up over? You know what I mean? I said, "So go ahead, young man. You want to beat me? Go ahead and beat me." I said, "Just don't punch me in my eye. Everything else I can handle." You know what I mean? But at that time, you know, it was done. He understood. And like I told him, we fighting over a profession. We ain't got nothing to do with it. All we do is work in it. We don't own nothing. Ain't got no rights to nothing. Ain't got no title to nothing. You know what I mean? Ain't no reason for us to be in there fighting. Just try to do what we got to do, you know? So that's all it is.
I love your perspective on that, because at the end of the day, you're right. They won't be talking about the owner of whatever team, you know, like you said, say like if it was the Jags at the time, it won't be the owner of the Jags that was out there fighting. It won't even be the head coach of the Jags.
Won't be the head coach. Absolutely.
It's gonna be that. It's gonna be these two brothers who out there
That's
fighting,
right.
and then next thing you know, you're gonna have a problem moving on and continuing to feed your family. He
Ain't no
have
question.
having a problem like feeding his family. So you did the right thing.
Yeah, no question. You know, and like I told him, especially when you're in a situation when you turn and look around to your left and you look around to your right, and you realize it's a staff of 22 people and there's only 3 blacks on the whole staff. What is 2 of y'all? What is 2 of y'all fighting over? Ain't but 3 out of 23. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we the 2 fighting. What are we fighting over? That don't make no sense. You know what I mean? So I never got involved in one of those. Never wanted to. Never intended to.
That was smart.
Yeah. Hey, so how was it coaching Roddy White, man? From where you was with the Falcons from 2008 to 15? You saw him come in?
Yeah.
Was he a rookie when he came in?
No.
He was going into his second year. He was going in. He was coming out of his second year. He had been with Mike Vick, and he had dropped quite a few balls. He had a lot of drops, and they were starting to mumble a little bit. Maybe he was a bust. You know, they didn't know. Maybe he was a bust. You know what I mean? He got drafted in the first round, and he came there, and he was a showboat guy. You know, he wanted to be the show. You know what I mean? And he came in there and had a lot of things on his plate, a lot of things going on in the plate. And I tell you what's funny, man. I had a long conversation. Me, him, and his mom, and some friends were sitting at a dinner table about 3 days ago. We had this discussion, you know. And I came in to Atlanta, and at that time I was a little young. You know, I was still eating some egg and grits for breakfast. You know, so I had to tell him, B. Rich. I told him, I said, B. Rich. I told him, I said, listen, let me explain something to you. There's a new sheriff in town. You ever heard that? There's a new sheriff in town. I said, now here's the bottom line. I don't care what nobody else tell you. I don't care what Arthur Blank say. I don't care what Mike Smith say. There's a new sheriff in town. I said, now listen, young man, you gonna do what the hell I tell you. Until I tell you stop. And when you make up a decision, you don't feel like doing it, you're gonna do it twice. I said, because you got to understand, I got to feed my family off of what you do. You understand? Yeah. But you need me more than I need you. Now, here's what I would tell him, and I tell them all. If you shut up and be quiet and just do what I tell you, I will make you more money than you've ever dreamt of having in your life. I said, because the only 2 people that I knew in the world at that time that made more money for black athletes was Pat Riley and a guy named Don King. They're the only 2 I knew made more money. And I told him, do what I tell you to do. It's going to all work out. And B. Rich, since you asked, I'm going to say it to you. It was unbelievable, the relationship that he and I built. Until this day, he look at me as a father, which a lot of guys do with a coach. He look at me as a father, and I look at him as a son. But it's the first time he and I had a conversation. It wasn't too early, and it wasn't too long. Yeah, we went out to minicamp. The first day we went out, and I was on him. Listen, I was on him like grease on gravy, and I was on him, man. I'm telling you. And me and him going, and we on the field. We going. He walked off the field, and first thing he did was he went inside and he told the guys in the equipment room, he said, me and this coach ain't gonna make it. He said, if that man think he gonna cuss me out every day like this and yell at me every day like this and get after me every day, he said, I'm gonna beat that old man ass. Excuse that, but he said, I'm gonna beat that old man. That's what he told the equipment guy. Wow. And then he left and went home. So when I went in the room and I heard what he said, the equipment guys told me what he said. I said, give me his home address. I got to handle this. And I left and I went to his house. That evening, the first day, I drove to his house. When I got to his house, I knocked on his door. His mama's mama, which is his grandmother, his mama, which is his great-grandmother. All 3 of the women in the kitchen cooking. Wow. That's who he lived. They all live with him, B. Rich. They all 3 live with him. Wow. I knocked on the door. Now listen to this one. His mama, at that particular time, mama 49, grandmother 71, 72, great-grandmother 89. Mm-hmm. And them 3 women living with him in the house there. Yeah. I knocked on the door. I told him, I said, where your son? She said, he's in the back. I said, call him. Tell him Coach Robiskie here. I'll meet him in the garage. Take his shirt off before he come in. He come in that garage. I closed that door. I said, listen, You told them guys, we ain't gonna make it. We're gonna fight. I said, well, let's get that part settled today. Let me show you what this fight, how long this fight gonna last. Come on here, close that garage door. Let's go. Now he would have whipped the crap out of me if he started, but I scared him to death when I told him. You understand, B. Rich? So the thing about that, B. Rich, was two things here. When he came in that garage, I closed the door behind us. His mama came by the door and his grandmother came by the door, and the two of them was over there. Get him, coach. Get him. That's what he need. Get him. Get him. His great-grandmother opened that door. She said, if you put your hand on my grandchild, I'm going to beat you, coach. I'm going to beat you. I said, don't worry about it. I ain't going to do it nothing. I ain't going to do it nothing. But that was our first, that was the first day he and I really got into it and had a discussion about it. And I told him the same thing. I said, you've lost your mind, son. I said, you got 3 women living here with you. They're all living with you because they're dependent on you. I said, you out here acting like a jackass. You're going to have to do what I tell you to do, straighten your life up, because you got some people that's dependent on you. Next thing I found out, B. Rich, next thing I found out, he had 5 kids. I said, let me tell you something else, young man. Where I'm from, you're going to take care of them 5 kids. I don't know about their mama, who they are, but you're going to take care of your kids. Because that's how I believe. That's what I believe. That's where I was raised at. I said, so you need me way more than you think you need me. I said, but just shut up and be quiet. I'm going to make you the best receiver that ever played in Atlanta.
Wow.
And from that day, he signed 2 contracts, coming to a total of about $160 million. He left, he's the leading catcher, the leading scorer, the leading receiver in Atlanta Falcons history. And when I was down there last week or 2 weeks ago, I started putting him up on the wall of fame. So whatever it was, it worked out. But it was the greatest joy of my life to coach him because he was hard-headed, but he could play. Yeah. If you're hard-headed, I don't care what's wrong with you. If you can play, we'll figure the rest of it out. Yeah. And it worked out great for us, man. We had a great time, and today we got a great relationship.
Hey, let me ask you a question. Back in 2015, I think that was the year that Kyle Shanahan and Dan Quinn was there. Is that correct?
That might have been 16, but when Kyle came, it might have been 16, but go ahead.
Okay, but his first year, I think we went to the Super Bowl in 16. His first year with Kyle, what went wrong? Why didn't it click with them? Because it seemed like he should have been on that Super Bowl team, and of that nature. I just want to know what happened, because like Roddy still had something to go, and he didn't go play for nobody else. I wonder why. Because
at that particular time, he was at the end. You know, Julio was rocking and rolling. And Roddy was at the end, and he slowed down. He had slowed down a little bit. Now, everybody danced with a different girl. You know, Kyle is that guy that likes little, small, quick, fast twitch, quick guys. Kyle is not into the big, physical, put his hands on people. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Kyle like them cats who little guys who can squirt in dirt and move around. Like Kyle would have loved Warwick Dunn way more than he loved Michael Turner. You know what I mean? That's his style. And Roddy wasn't his style. And then the other side of that is he already had a big guy who could run, which was Julio Jones.
Yeah, Julio.
So he already had that guy. He didn't want and he didn't need 2 of them. You know what I mean? So that marriage didn't work. And at the end of the day, they just made a decision. And I think Mr. Blank made a decision. We'll give Roddy 1 more year, and then we'll go ahead and let him go. Let him go catch on with somebody else if he wants to. But like I said, it wasn't necessarily. That happens a lot too in football, where a lot of times people upstairs, like I tell them, sitting down upstairs in the office with a 3-piece suit on and air conditioning, they make a decision. You're too old. You can't. You're too old. You're too slow. You can't go. You know what I mean? Yeah. Sometimes they make the wrong decision. The New England Patriots did it with Tom Brady when they let him go to Tampa Bay. You know what I mean? Yeah. But at the same time, like I said, some people like to dance with. They like to go to the dance with who they like to go to dance with. Yeah, Kyle likes little, small, quick guys. That's his style. His style. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Let me ask you this, Coach. So coming in 2008, being a part of the Mike Smith era, the Matt Ryan era, the receivers that you had, you already spoke about the relationship with you and Roddy. You also had Harry Douglas, who came in as a rookie that particular year, and then you had Jenkins. Michael Jenkins was there, and then we had Julio that came in 2011. What was it about each of these players that made them the guys that they end up becoming? Did you see anything special in these guys that you saw from the beginning that you knew you were going to be able to help turn them into something special?
Well, the first thing for me is always Trayvon. When I'm when I'm looking at a guy and I'm saying I'm gonna bring him in my room, the first thing I look at is compete. Is compete, hungry, love the game, and ain't backing down to nobody. You know, to me, I've always said professional football is a battle. It's a battle. Now, to me, as a man, we were born competing. You born as a human being, as a man, you born competing. I don't care what it is. Back in the day, when guys said, "Let's go outside and play marble," you want to win. You know what I'm saying? If you jumped in the line with a group of girls outside, they were doing hopscotch. You want to you out hopscotch them. If they were jumping rope, you jump in the line, jump with them. You want to beat them. If you grab a baseball, a basketball, a football, whatever that sport was, we learned at an early age we want to compete and we want to win. You know what I mean? If you and I was trying to date the same girl in high school, it's a competition. I want to compete and I want to win. First thing for me is the guy want to compete. Do you want to compete? If you don't want to compete, you're in the wrong room. And I told guys that all the time. Hey man, if you ain't gonna go over there and make this block, if you ain't making this tough catch, if you're scared to go across the middle, hold on a minute. Let me call some of my friends. I'm gonna get you a skirt. We're gonna put you over there with the cheerleaders. I'm gonna let you be a cheerleader. You got to come in here. You got to compete. And that's the first thing I want to know. Now, if he decides he wants to compete, he's hungry. I'm not in here trying to, coach, I'm not trying to get a job because I got to pay for my little bills over here, bills over there. Man, listen, I'm hungry. I want to prove to the world I belong in this. I want to prove to my mom and my daddy. I want to make the world know I'm ready, man. I want to be a part of something special. That's the first thing I get with all my guys. They want to compete. Then from that point on, I get to teach them what we're trying to do and how we're trying to do it. We go to that stage. And then the very last stage is love. And I tell people all the time, right now, you, Be Rich, you and Trey Boy, y'all work together? Man, y'all ain't got to love each other. Y'all probably don't have to like each other. But I tell you one thing, I bet you that show y'all got going gonna have a whole lot of more success when people hear the love y'all got for each other. And when y'all look out for each other. And when the world find out, man, guess what, man? Be Rich and Trey Boy be getting it on that stove, man. Them cats got each other back. That's a big plus. We ain't got to like each other, but we're going to love each other in this room. Because you know what it is? I tell them, in this room, where there's only 6, 7, 8 of us, we're going to dominate. We're going to dominate on the field. We're going to dominate off the field. We're going to dominate in the classroom. We're going to dominate in the street. We're going to dominate in church. Because we're going to always have each other back. And we're going to always make sure we align together and we're doing it the right way. You know what I mean? Ain't no such thing as we were out at the club together. We went, got dinner, and guess what? We let him go. He had too much to drink, but we let him drive home by himself. That ain't gonna happen. Because if one guy got in trouble, they all got in trouble. So we all became one. We all became one group. We all love each other. We didn't care where you came from. We didn't care. Don't matter what color you is. Your skin could be orange, purple, pink. We don't care. You know what we want to know? You want to compete? You want to fight? You want to win? Come on, get in here. Let's get it all. And that's the way our room live. And that's everywhere I've ever coached. That's where my room live. We believe it's us against the world.
I love it. And I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you because when Richard Sherman and the Seattle Seahawks was talking all that jive, y'all threw a bomb and it hit Roddy White. And he scored on Richard Sherman. Tell us about that play, man. I was so happy to see that man and have him shut up. Please, please, please tell me about that play.
All right. Okay. So listen to me, B. Rich. I swear to you, you won't believe this. I just talked about that play Thursday.
Oh, wow.
Thursday evening, I was sitting down and we were sitting down having dinner with Tony Gonzalez. And me and the boys are sitting around chit-chatting and talking. And Richard Sherman was over. But long story short, so last time I saw Richard Sherman, I gave him a hug. And I said, hey, man, I got to hug you because I've always believed in greatness. I've always loved greatness. And I said, you were one of the better DBs in the NFL. I said, but you know what it was? I said, you know what it was, Richard? You could talk that smack, but you could back it up. I said, and Roddy had problems with you. It was hard for us to get you. I said, and we tried, man. I tried everything. Roddy had a problem with you. I said, but when I got Julio, you had problems now. I said, the problem was on the other side. I said, there's one time, and I told him, I said, one time we snuck one in on you. I said, we got one over your head. You went to sleep. and I threw that post over your head. Roddy caught that post, and Roddy couldn't wait to catch that thing and run back and go talk smack to it.
Oh,
and
man.
Richard said, "Yeah, coach, yeah, that's the only time you ever got me." And I flew around there and fell asleep because I saw Matt pump. So what happened on that play, we had Julio was lined up to the left out wide, and we had Matt to come back. We had Roddy to jog. So Roddy was in what we call bunch right close to the right side. And I told Roddy, you take off jogging. Don't run. Just jog. Just jog easy like a walk in the park. And then Matt dropped back and looked over at Julio, and Julio was flying. And Matt pumped it to Julio. So Richard thought, oh, shit, I better get over there and go help my cornerback, right? So Richard bit, here's what we call it fish bait. It ain't nothing but a little piece of fish. We threw it in that water and we just bait you to bite. We want that big fish over the top of your head, but we want you to bite on that little one. So when Richard saw Matt get that hard pump to Julio to the left, Richard took over. Bing, took off running, tried to go help his boy. And all of a sudden he realized, oh, crap, Matt didn't throw it. And when he turned around and looked, Roddy was going down the side. Roddy was going down the middle of the numbers. We threw it to Roddy, hit him right in stride, right in his chest.
Oh, man.
And, man, he loved every second of it. Roddy went crazy.
Oh,
he had finally caught one on Richard, and that gave him the right to talk crap for the next 3 years. The next 3 years. That was
man. I love that. That was one of my favorites. That was one of my favorites. We had somebody in the crowd. They said, how is it coaching Roddy, Julio, and Harry? How was that?
Tell me it was fantastic, and it was three guys that how we always said it. It was three guys. If you're gonna get yourself caught in the alley and you didn't know where the hell you were in the world, you'd have them three guys with you. And I'll tell you what's funny. Tell them the greatest part about it is them three guys. Julio 6'4", about 230. Roddy was about 6'2", about 212, and Harry about 6 feet, about 185. Tell them when I took them three guys in the alley, Harry would be first in line, because he was the toughest one out of them three.
Wow.
All right, then, Harry.
Harry would be the first one in that line because he was the toughest out of that three. Now,
Southside Atlanta.
Yeah, I wouldn't say the other two wasn't tough, but Harry was number 2 in my room for all the years. 9 years I was there. He was the second toughest guy in my room ever. Harry didn't back down from nobody. Harry wasn't scared of nobody. Harry was gonna block, catch, tackle. Anybody you want to go fight, Harry, go fight him. And that was a big discussion we had in my room all the time. Tell them all the time I would find my guys if they got in a fight. A fight that wasn't a real fight. They hit somebody in the back of the head, did something wrong.
Yeah.
But Harry would always get in fight, and then Roddy would run over to go help Harry. And then Roddy would get a flag. Harry didn't get a flag. He started the fight, but he didn't get a flag. Roddy would run over there, hit somebody behind the head, boom, 15-yard flag. I fired Roddy one day. One day I fined him $500. I said, I done told you before, Harry don't need your help. Harry can be fighting three guys in the alley. If it ain't Bruce Lee and his company, you stay out of it. Harry can handle it. He always want to go but Roddy would always go get in a fight at the end. Harry done whip somebody. Roddy go jump up like he going to help him and go hit him back of the head. So I had to fine him $500 to keep him from acting like he was helping Harry. But tell that individual, all three of those guys was unbelievable for me. They all was great, great leaders. They wasn't not one guy's a follower. They all was great, great leaders. And if, like I told him, no matter what that situation was, tell him if half of Atlanta was on fire and you needed 3 firemen, take them 3 with you. Take all 3 of them with you. Harry gonna be the first one in that line.
Hey, Coach, I want to ask you one thing. I'm sorry, Trey. I just gotta ask this. You played for the Raiders, right? When you was a player.
Yeah.
How was it playing with John Madden? How was that?
John Madden is the one coach. I'll tell everybody I had a chance to work for a lot of coaches. I had a chance to play for 3. And I'll tell everybody, that tall building y'all got, the tall building they got, I think is the Bank of America building with the tower up to the top, right?
Yes.
Like the tallest building in Atlanta.
It's right
I'll tell everybody I know, if John Madden had told me, Terry, I need you to go jump off of that building, but land on your feet so we can win a Super Bowl, I would have went and jump. John Madden to me is the greatest head coach I've ever stepped on a football field with.
Wow.
Unbelievable. Let me ask you a question. We don't know how long we're going. You want me to give you my John Madden story?
Yes.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Coach.
We're on the radio, right?
Yes. We're live.
So here's the deal. You guys looking at me, people listening to me. I'm going to give you my John Madden story. If I start crying, don't y'all tell them. They ain't going to know unless y'all tell them, right? So don't tell them, okay? So I'm from a little bitty town on the bayou, little country town, man, down the bayou in Louisiana. I'm about 18 miles on this side of New Orleans. I grew up on the bayou. John Madden and Al Davis drafted me. I come out to the Raiders. They had just won the Super Bowl about 2 weeks before. Long story short, we got 6 preseason games. All right. They had drafted another running back in the 2nd round. They drafted me in the 8th round. And they said, hey, man, you probably won't make it. We ain't going to keep an 8th rounder over a 2nd rounder, right? I came in. All the veterans fell in love with me. They said, Terry, this is what you got to do. So the veterans, man, Otis Sistrunk, right? Art Shell, Gene Upshaw, Clarence Davis. They start telling me all the little nuances, what I had to do to beat out the guy in the 2nd round. What I had to do, I had to be a better special team player. The last game of the season, we going to play the Rams. We flew down from Oakland to Los Angeles. We're going to play the Rams on a Thursday night, last preseason game. John Madden come to me before the game. He said, you want to make my team? I said, yeah. He said, in the game tomorrow night, make 2 tackles on special team. He said, you'll make my team. I'm already leading the team in special team tackles. I'm the team captain, right? But now here's what happened. My mom, my daddy, and my aunt, my mom's sister, they wanted to see me play 1 game in professional football. All my life, my family had followed me all over the world. Anywhere I went to play, they followed me. We went to play when I was at LSU my junior year. We went to play Nebraska, up in Lincoln, Nebraska. My mom and my daddy drove their old Ford LTD. They drove to Lincoln, Nebraska to watch me play, right? They didn't miss my games. So my mama says, we come into L.A., we want to see you play 1 game as a professional football player. We think you might get cut after the game, but we want to see you play. So guess what they did? They caught a Greyhound bus from New Orleans to Los Angeles. $39.95, the 3 got on that bus. They came out here, they left out there Saturday, they got out here on Wednesday.
Wow.
Wednesday evening, they came by the hotel. We stayed at the hotel night before the game. They came by, my mama says, hey, man, hey, Terry, I want to meet John Madden. I got to meet him. I come this far, I got to meet him. No, Mom, leave John alone. No, leave him alone. Just as she said that, John got off the elevator. My mama walked over to him, gave him a hug, gave him a kiss. I just want to kiss you for drafting my son and give him a chance. Oh, my God, that's unbelievable. I just want to kiss you. I just want to give you a kiss. Bam, she kissed him.
Wow.
We go out there, we play the game. I make about 3 tackles, about 5 blocks. The next day, we go back up to Oakland. My mom and stayed in L.A. We go to Oakland. It's cut day. Boom, they call me in for the cut. Hey, John Madden wants to see you. Bring your playbook. I get up, I walk in his office. He look at me, he says, hey, man, your mom and your dad in her. What were they doing in L.A.? I said, they came out for the game. They wanted to watch me play. He said, well, when are they flying home? He said, they flew all the way out for that game, a preseason game. I said, flew where? I said, they caught Greyhound bus. They caught Greyhound bus. I said, they caught Greyhound bus. He said, they're not going to catch the bus to go home. I said, no, when you cut me, I'm going to go pick them up in my car, and we're going to drive home together. He said, what's going to happen if I don't cut you? I said, they're going to get back on Greyhound and go back home. He said, Greyhound? He said, they're not going to get a plane ticket? I said, John, we can't afford a plane ticket, man. We can't afford no plane ticket. He said, oh, man, okay, all right. He reached down to his desk. He grabbed a brown envelope, and he gave me that envelope. He said, here, I'll see you later. Give that to my secretary. I walk out there to his secretary. Beverly says, hey, John want me to give this to you. Here, take it. I said, all right. You want my playbook? She said, yeah, give me a playbook. Give the playbook, grab the envelope. I start walking out. She said, don't you want to open it? I said, no, that's all right. I don't want to read that I got cut. She said, no, open it. He wants you to open it. I opened it. It was 3 airplane tickets for my family. She said, John Madden wants you to know, anybody whose family take a Greyhound bus from New Orleans to L.A. to watch a preseason game play, got to be on his team. He bought you 3 airplane ticket for your family to go home. He paid for the airplane ticket for me.
Wow.
So if he had told me to jump off the top of that building, I would have jumped. That was my dude. That was my guy, bro.
That's awesome.
That's a great story.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yep, that's my dude, bro.
That's awesome.
How
Coach.
y'all doing?
That's
Y'all doing
awesome.
all right? Let's keep rolling.
Yeah, no, we're doing good.
got
I
lots of
love hearing
questions,
that
man.
because like life to me, family is super important. So to hear you speak about family and speak about what it meant to John Madden, and then I'm sure he became your family as well. I was gonna go back to the past. We were talking Falcons, but since we back in the past and we talking about your time with the Raiders, you end up coaching with the Raiders and you end up winning the Super Bowl with the Raiders as well.
Yeah.
One of our guys, Ryan the historian, he wants us to ask, what was it like coaching Marcus Allen? That's from Ryan the historian. You can even address him if you want, as you tell this.
No problem. Tell Ryan that of course when Marcus Allen came to us at the Raiders, I was a young coach. I was in my second year. That guy came in. It was amazing how we sat in the draft room and talked about it. Al Davis did not want to draft Marcus. He left out of the draft room and told us, if y'all want to take him, y'all take him. I want somebody else. And he had a guy named Walter Abercrombie that went up to the Steelers. That's who he wanted. But he told us, if y'all want that guy, Marcus Allen, y'all take him. He didn't want Marcus because he didn't think he was fast enough. But now you remember I told you guys a second ago about my receivers in my room being able to compete. Let me tell you this. From the very first day that Marcus Allen walked on our campus, if you guys had grabbed Marcus Allen and said to him, his first day on the campus, if you grabbed him and said, hey, man, we got a guy in the gym want to play you one-on-one basketball, he'll play you for $100,000. All you want to know is, can you get him a pair of tennis shoes? And when you got to the gym, if you looked across the floor and thought it was Michael Jordan, he would sit down and say, what time we starting? And wait, how y'all going to pay me? All he want to know is how you going to pay me. Marcus Allen, you hear people tell a story about how sometimes they call Michael Jordan the Black Jesus, and they talk about how Michael's competitive and Michael competes and all that stuff. And I believe the same. I think Michael is. But I'll say this to you. I have never, in my entire 45 years in the NFL, I've never been around a man that's more competitive, tougher, nastier than Marcus Allen. I've had some guys that could do some different things.
Did we lose Coach for a quick second? His phone may run.
Yeah, some probably rang. He gonna come back.
Yeah, his phone probably rang. He'll probably, man. This is like, man, this is awesome, man. This is awesome. I mean, to hear the John Madden story, we've heard a lot of great things.
I almost cried.
Well, all right then, man. I'm trying to tell you, man, that was awesome. I can't wait for him to come back on so we can ask him a lot more questions. He told us, everybody bear with us. He told us that he was on his phone, and if he goes out, just give him a second. He'll be right back. Man, we getting a lot more than I even hoped for, and I'm looking forward to talking to him about his college days as well. Like I said, Coach Robiskie, for some of you guys who may only know him as Coach Robiskie, who coached for the Falcons. I mean, Coach Robiskie, like I said, he's not just a coaching legend that we know here in Atlanta. Like, he's a football legend. He spent time with the Raiders as a player, as a coach. I'm going to ask him about his time at LSU. I don't know if a lot of you. Yeah. I don't know if a lot of you know a fun fact about him and LSU, which I'm going to ask him. But Coach Robiskie was the first running back in history for the University of LSU to run for 1,000 yards. Did you know that, B. Rich? Okay, Coach Robiskie is back. We got you back, Coach. Okay. I was just sitting here talking about your college, but go ahead and finish your Marcus Allen story, Coach.
Yeah, no, I was just saying that guy came to us, and he was just the toughest SOB I'd ever been around. And you talk about a guy who knew how to win and compete. And he wasn't the fastest, but people couldn't catch him. He wasn't the slipperiest, but it was hard to put a hand on him. And the guy could do it all. He could throw it, he could run it, he could catch it, he could jump it. And at the end of the day, he had the heart. He had a heart about the size of Texas. But nothing about that guy would say follow. Everything about that cat there, man, was lead. He was going to always be in front, going to always be in the front of the line. Marcus Allen is the only running back I've ever been on the football field with in practice that if we stand on our own 20, you hand it to him, that cat went 80 yards. Every time he touched it, he went 80 yards in practice. He ran 80 yards to the other end zone and came back. And then one day I was like, hey, man, you're going to get tired, man. You're going to get tired. Why the hell are you doing that? He said, we out here trying to score, ain't we? Yeah, my body got to get used to scoring. And I don't care. We could be on hour 20, hour 30. That cat ran it all the way to the end zone, and he told you why. My body got to get used to scoring.
That's man. Hey, but you know what, Coach? You've been around so many greats. Like I'm sure you've seen that from a few the greats. Like somebody said, like the difference between people who are good and people who are great is the greats just do it more often. They just do it with more discipline. Like they have that mindset that I want to get used to touching the end zone. I need my fellow players to see me touch the end zone. Let them touch the end zone, and that's what we'll do in the games.
No question. Absolutely. Absolutely. But tell the guy who asked that question, I will also say, and I've said it on TV, of my 15 years or whatever when I was with the Raiders and my 45 years in the NFL, I believe in my heart Marcus Allen is the greatest greatest player to ever wear silver and black. He's the greatest football player, the greatest football player I know that has ever worn the Raiders silver and black.
All right, Coach. Wow. That's a big statement. I want you to be brief about this. I want to ask you about my favorite running back, but Miami Dolphins, Don Shula. How was it playing for Don Shula? Was like, I know John Madden, that's no bigger than that. And then you have another legend with Don Shula. Like, how was he? Was he cool?
Coach Shula was a football coach. John Madden was a teacher. John Madden was a school teacher. You know what I mean? A math teacher. John Madden was in the class. John was going to teach you. He was going to lead you by the hand. He's going to show you. He's going to rub you on your shoulder. John's going to take you to his house for lunch. You know what I mean? He's constantly talking about love and teaching techniques and, do this way, do that way. Coach Shula walk around every day with a whipping chain. He out there cursing. He was everything you ever heard about a coach that was a hard-nosed, tough SOB, browbeat you, run you to death, train you to death, gonna make you John Madden taught from love. Coach Shula taught from fear. Coach Shula would have been the guy that was in that movie Rambo. You remember that guy that trained Rambo?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's Coach Shula. That's Coach Shula. Coach Shula would have been the guy who would have, cut you with a knife and tell you, don't you dare bleed. Don't you bleed. Don't you bleed.
Gotcha. All right, Coach, I want to ask you this. 1980, I know you was playing with the Dolphins. My Atlanta Falcons, that's when I became an Atlanta Falcons fan. And my favorite running back was William Andrews. Two things. Tell me a little bit about William Andrews that you know, and what happened to the Falcons when we lost to Dallas in 1980, if you can remember that.
No, William was William was a different running back. People wouldn't want to say he's a great running back, but William would have been a great running back. You know what happens to us is, just like Marcus Allen, I told you guys a minute ago, Al Davis didn't want to draft Marcus because Al didn't think he was big enough, strong enough, certainly didn't think he was fast enough. And the thing that he wasn't fast enough, Al didn't like him, And I tell you how Al used to put it. Man, y'all want to draft that guy? Oh man, listen, I'm trying to go to Super Bowl on a 747 jet. You guys trying to ride on a Greyhound bus. And that was his theory that was Al's theory when you was comparing a guy that had speed and a guy that didn't have speed. And that was the thing with William Andrews. William had great balance, great feet, great eyes, could see it all, strong, gonna be there every week, gonna get you them tough yards, you know what I mean? But he wasn't a home run hitter. And that's why he was never looked at as a great one. But when he was in Atlanta, he absolutely fit the Atlanta style and what they were doing in Atlanta. And it was just a great player, And Atlanta had a lot of those guys like that who were great players. They wasn't great to that other side, but they were really, really good football players. Yeah. And then when you ask what happened, when they lost to the Cowboys, again, remember back in the 80s, man, the Cowboys was rocking and rolling. A lot of people lost. A lot of people lost. The thing that a lot of people lost to the Cowboys back then. I mean, the Cowboys,
we shouldn't have lost that game, though, Coach.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of games we lose that we shouldn't lose. It's just at the end of the day, here's the theory, and it was something John Madden taught me was, if you just keep playing and keep going, they're gonna lose a game that they ain't supposed to lose. And John Madden was, more people are gonna do something wrong to lose a game than the people who do things right to win a game. And that was one of those deals where Atlanta made a couple of mistakes, cost them the game. You know,
I heard Bill
mistakes,
Belichick say that before.
A couple of mistakes in a game like that, you can go home. You know, you can go home because it's gonna cost you the game.
Coach, well, let me ask you this. I want to take it to you as a player. You know, I was telling B Rich when you went off for a second. I was telling B Rich, I don't know if a lot of people know this. You, the first player in the history of LSU to run for 1,000 yards. How was your time at LSU, especially during that time? Just being an athlete, being a black running back, playing for LSU, playing down there in your home state. How was it being the first rusher to cross 1,000 yards for the University of LSU?
It was a great feeling, Trey. It at that particular time, for me, it was joy. It was great joy. I was very, very happy because now I felt like I had accomplished something. You know, I had come from an all black high school, and in my all black high school, I was a quarterback, and in my 4 years or 5 years as a quarterback in high school, I think I finished with a record of 44-4 or 44-2, and we won all the time. We won state championship, basketball, baseball, football. We won all the time. I was used to winning. You know what I mean? I was used to winning. Now, when I went to LSU, it was hard for me. You know, when I first went there, I was the number one recruit in the nation. Got me? And when I went to LSU, blacks didn't go to LSU, especially black players from New Orleans. Didn't go to LSU. What was different for me is the head coach didn't really come after me. He wasn't really excited about me because the head coach had come out and said he wasn't excited about having black players on his team. It was only 4 that was on the team. So he didn't recruit me. The governor recruited me. So the governor was the guy that come to my house, you know, once or twice a week, call my house, send people by. The governor recruited me to go to LSU.
The governor of Louisiana?
The governor of Louisiana recruited me to go to LSU.
That's awesome.
The governor of Louisiana was the guy that started coming to my house, sitting at my table, eating with my mom and dad. But the governor of the state of Louisiana told me that, hey, it's important that you come to LSU. You're from Louisiana. You're the number one recruit in the country. And we got to get some African-American players at LSU. And you could be the guy to come open that door. And you would be a good guy to start with because a lot of people would want to say, if it's good enough for the number one recruit in the world, it's good enough for me. He said, Terry, I need you to come open that door. And the governor did a hell of a job recruiting me. The governor came to my house probably 4-1 compared to LSU's coaching staff. Probably 4-1. And he came to my house and he did a lot of good things. We had a lot of fun. I got close to him. He and I got close, got to be buddies. And I went there. And I tell people when I went to LSU and I got there, I had one of the little mailboxes, the little bucket of mail that you have. I had about 1,000 letters in there. I had about 500 letters from black people all over the state calling me a sellout. And why'd you go there? What are you doing? You're Uncle Tom. You're a sellout. Wow. And I had another 500 letters from the white people saying, we don't want you. We don't need you on our campus. We don't want you on our campus.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, it was kind of in the middle of no man land. And then I remember as a freshman, I'm playing there. This was the first year freshmen could play. I'm playing and I'm a backup. And I remember one time I fumbled a ball. And I looked up, we were going in to score. I tried to dive over and lay it over, and it got knocked out of my hand before it crossed the goal line, you know, so the fumble. And when I got up and looked in the stands, I saw people throwing bottles at me, beer bottles at me. And that's my own fault.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
I'm sorry.
So that's where it started for me my freshman year at LSU. My sophomore year, I just went to work, and I just did what I do. I went to work, and I ignored the crowd noise. And then my junior year, I decided I got to go. I got to go do what I'm going to do. I never once thought I was going to play professional football, but I just wanted to be the best I could be. So my junior year, I played and had a good year. And again, I became the first 1,000-yard rusher. I'd already been the first freshman to score, the first freshman to play. So I set records as I was going. I started setting records. At that particular time, At that particular time, LSU had a rule that if you played and you played good as your freshman year, you didn't have to go through spring ball going into your senior year. And I told the head coach, I rushed for 1,000 yards, 1,100 yards, or something like that. I ain't done crap. That ain't crap, coach. We didn't win, and I ain't done nothing. I'm going through spring ball. The only way I could ever get better is to go through it in practice. So I changed that rule. After I decided to go through it, then everybody started going through it. And then I went through it, and my next year I came on, and I became the MVP of LSU, the MVP of the SEC, and I did all of those things. And again, I broke the rushing record, broke the scoring record, had all those titles when I left. And at that particular time, of course, the governor loved me more. He would have me come over to his house and have dinner and have pictures of me on the wall because he felt like he recruited me and I was his guy. So from that, it was a success. From that, it was a success, and I had a good time with it. But then it came back. I didn't get drafted high. When I didn't get drafted the first day or so, I said, "The hell with it! I'm not going to play football. I don't want to play professional football. I'm not going to go." And then the second day, I get a call from a guy named Al Davis, who said, "I own the Raiders, and we just won the Super Bowl." And he said, "Hey, I'm going to draft you. I don't care what nobody says. I'm going to draft you. You got something I like, and I'm going to draft you." And then I sat down in the room and said, "Well, if I'm good enough for the team that won the Super Bowl, to hell with the rest."
Yeah,
the rest
I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
So from that, I went ahead. I got drafted by the Raiders, and that's kind of where it took off and where it went. I'll tell you what was interesting, and and I'll give y'all a story nobody really knows. But I go to LSU. I got 1,000 hate letters. I'm in my dormitory. LSU has got it's an all athletic dome, right? It's just athletes, but it's track, baseball, basketball, for everybody's in it, called Bruce Hart Hall. They got security around that thing like they have security at the Olympics. I go to bed. There's 7 blacks on this team that year because it was already 4 and 3 of us signed. So there's 7. Well, there's 7 blacks on the team. There's an odd man out. One of us don't have a roommate. So guess who don't have a roommate? Me. So I never forget it. They put me in a little corner by the middle of the dormitory. I'm in a little corner room by myself. I got a room by myself. Nobody's in there. 2 o'clock in the morning, all the security around that building. 2 o'clock in the morning, I get a tap on my door. Bang, 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 open that door. I peeped in the peephole. There's a guy standing there with a shotgun and a cape over his eye. Got a white cape over his head. I'm sitting up there. How did this son of a bitch get in this dormitory? Open that door. I reached under my bed. I'm from Louisiana, man. I wasn't born yesterday. Everywhere I go, I take my gun. I reach under my bed. I grab my shotgun. I open the door. I said, "Come on, it's open. But I want you to know I got one too." I'd been there about 2 weeks, and the KKK knocked on my door.
Dang.
About 2 weeks after I graduated from LSU, I get a phone call from a friend of mine in Denham Springs, Louisiana. You know who lived in Denham Springs? A guy named David Duke.
Oh, wow.
So a friend of mine called me and said, "Hey," got a guy named David Duke want to meet you. Can you come out? Drove out there, went out there with him. The guy said, "I just want you to know, I was one of those guys that sent you those letters that I didn't want your ass here. We didn't want you at our school. We didn't want you here." He said, "But I call you here today to shake your hands, and I want to hug you, and I want to tell you, I really appreciate what you've done for my university."
Wow.
LSU is my school. LSU is my school, and I really want to tell you, I appreciate what you did. The 4 years you've been here, the doors you have opened, and the other athletes you have opened this door for. I appreciate you.
Wow, that's crazy.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank God you had that shotgun, Coach.
I know,
Thank God
man.
you had that shotgun.
No question.
Coach, so let me ask you something. You had a chance to coach Bo Jackson, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so look, take us back, man, to that infamous game against Brian Bosworth in Seattle, man. Remember that game? Take us what you was thinking, man. They had the Boz versus Bo Jackson, man. Tell us what that was like, man. I watched that on Monday night game. I remember that like it's still fresh in my head, man.
Yeah, well, I could have told everybody. Before the game. You know, the hype wasn't real. You know, I could have told you Bo Jackson against most people. But for Bo to be going, everybody, Bo Jackson and Boz. Listen, man, let me tell you something. That would have been like y'all promoting Muhammad Ali versus Terry Robiskie. It wasn't no chance, man. It wasn't no chance. Well, I tell everybody I know, and I love him to death. I said, Bo Jackson, if you remember that movie Men in Black, when Will Smith and that guy walked in there behind the pawn shop, and the little guy was lying to him, they shot his head off, and his head went down the body, and he said,
yeah.
That was Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson wasn't from America. He wasn't from here. I don't know where he was from, but he wasn't from here. You know what I mean? But Bo Jackson did an interview, a national interview with a young lady on TV about 2 months ago. And he told that lady about that run. And I laughed because it was so real. I was the offensive coordinator for that game. I was calling plays. And we had a play that we pitched a sweep. It was tossed left. So we pitched it over there, and we had a play we called 17 Bob Trejo. And I had called that play earlier, and I called that sweep to go around that end. And I told him going into the game, I said, hey, man, we get around that corner. If we just give Bo that tip with about 2 yards from the sideline, I said he'll score on that play. And he pitched it out there, and he didn't like it. Whenever he saw something made him nervous, he turned around and reversed his field. So we pitched it out there. He turned around, came back, went upside, gained about 6 yards. And I'm sitting on the sideline, and I said, God damn, what happened to that? I thought we had that edge. And it puzzled me. I'm just, God damn it, I thought we had that. I thought it was there. So everybody's excited. We went down and scored some other touchdown. Everybody's excited. Bo came to the sideline. I said, Bo, now listen to me, man. I said, I think that pitch was there, just the way I told you. I said, I'm going to call it again now. When I call it again, don't cut it back. I said, stay on that side. Don't cut it back. Okay, Terry, I got you. A couple plays later, I called it, and he took off. And when he took off down the sideline, all I could do is get little tears in my eyes because it was like, that's the baby I created. That's the one I told you. And he took off, and he ran up the tunnel. It just did my heart so much joy, you know.
Man, you called that play? That's crazy.
I called the play. Now listen to me. I called that play. He ran up the tunnel, came to the sideline, give me a big hug and a kiss. And I told him, I said, hey, it ain't over yet. I got another surprise for you. All right. We go on, we play. About whatever it is, about 10, 12 plays later, we get on there. I think we're in the third or fourth quarter, and we get on about the 5-yard line.
I remember this play.
Going into the game, I told them guys, I said, hey, man, we're going to double up on that end. I said, the guys that tray blocking, that's staying down on that end, you guys stay down. I don't need you to bump and go. Usually we're going to bump and go up on that middle linebacker. I said, leave that one in the middle for Bo. I said, Bo can handle him. I said, now listen, here's what I told him. I said, listen, you guys do, this is long before Terrell Owens. I said, you guys do like we do with the movie. Go get some popcorn. I said, y'all double on that end and stay down on him. I said, Bo can handle Boz. I said, people came to see the show. We're going to give them the show.
Wow.
I call that thing 17 Bob Trio. And Bo turned that thing around when he hit that 7-hole. Boz was there, and Bo put his shoulder down and ran over Boz, and Boz's career was over. I mean,
it was over that night.
It was over.
Hey, Coach,
it was over.
His career.
It was over.
Handley ruined his career.
It was over. You know what I mean? It was over. And I tell everybody, you know, I don't sit there and say, oh, I feel bad for Boz. I'm sorry for Boz. That Boz is a handful of guys that I have seen in the NFL that could have stood up there and handled Bo Jackson if they was left like Boz was. You know, Ray Lewis probably could have. Willie Lanier might have had a chance. You know, Randy Gradishaw might have had a chance. It ain't too many guys. I've seen Bo ran over so many guys, man, it's unbelievable. And Boz wasn't going to be no different. And when you tell him Boz said something that pissed him off, even if he didn't, hey, man, Boz was talking about you, man. He talked about you. Okay, leave him. I got him. Leave him. I got him. Wow. It was over. It was over. I'm just telling you.
So you got any more questions? I got some more after you.
Man, that is awesome. That is awesome. Like, Boswell's career was over.
Over. It was done.
You say, hey, leave him.
It was over. It was over.
Bo got him. Bo got him.
Bo got him.
Hey, Trey, can you believe that he's the one that called the play that set it up? Like, that's crazy.
Hey,
Yeah.
Man, like that.
Yeah,
That is
I was
awesome.
calling the plays.
You gave us some good clips, man.
Yeah, I was calling plays back then.
So, Coach, like I know you've been interim head coach here and there, but did you ever have like aspirations as of becoming a head coach and staying a head coach in the NFL?
Yeah, every day. Yeah, every day. Every day, Trey. Every day that I woke up, my waking up in the football world during the football season. Every day I woke up with I'm gonna beat the hell out of you. Every morning when I got up from the night before, when I put together plays and I looked at plays and I coached my players, and I got up in the morning with the mindset is, whoever you are this week, we're gonna beat the hell out of you. I'm gonna find a way to beat you. And you know why I'm gonna do that? Because I've got to consistently keep proving that I'm better than my counterparts. I got to constantly keep proving I'm outwork my counterpart. And I'm gonna constantly keep proving that if somebody slip up and give me a head job, I'm gonna win it all. If somebody slip up and say, Terry, we're gonna try you for 2 years. Terry, we're gonna try you for 3 years. Here, come be our head coach. I'm gonna win a Super Bowl. I'm gonna find a way to get it done, and I'm gonna work my butt off every day until that time to get somebody to give me a chance. So every morning, every day, every night that I worked, and people say, why you work so hard? Why you working like you're crazy? I went to Miami, and when I went down to Miami, I coached next to a guy named Mike Malarkey, and Mike Malarkey thought I was a robot. Mike Malarkey sometimes come and hit me back in my back and say, come on, you got a key back here. Somebody wind you up. Something wrong with you. Because nobody had ever outworked that guy before, And, it'd be 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. But, I look back on it and I always said, and a lot of people said, that wasn't good coaching because I was working as hard as I was working. That was bad time management, But what I always said was, for me, I didn't have good players. If I had bad players, I better have bad time management, because I always figured out I didn't work quite as late when I had Bo Jackson. When I had Bo Jackson, I didn't have to stay there till 1 o'clock. You know what I mean? And it was just, it was always my desire. It was always my desire to give me my team and let me see what I could do. And I just don't, till this day, I believe I could have won a Super Bowl. Now, let me say this in all respects. I'm going to pat myself on the back because I believe that in my heart. And I'll laugh because I'll tell you, I didn't coach Tony Dungy, and I didn't pull a rabbit out of my hat. That Tony come and ask me, where you got that play from, Terry? Where you got that from? I designed that just for you. And we beat him. I've coached against Dan Reeves and Mike Shanahan and all those guys. Now, the 2 guys that I hadn't been able to get, and I got to give them their props, Mike Tomlin and Bill Belichick. Them 2 got done it. Them 2 got done coaches, man. I tell you the truth, man. I'd have my guys ready. I would have my players ready. I'd have my team ready, and we come right down the brink of it, man. Bill Belichick, man. We had 4th and goal on the 4, and he was up by 4, and he pulled one out of his hat, man, and he beat me. I haven't been able to beat that man. And Mike and I go to Pittsburgh, man, and Mike Tomlin, I'm telling you the truth, man. Mike find a way to beat me. I just haven't been able to get them too. But like I said, I was in the NFL for 45 years and 40 years of coaching, and I just believe in my heart. If somebody had given me a chance, I believe in my heart I could have done it. I could have got it done.
Coach, you made me a believer for sure.
I'm trying to tell you.
We forgot to talk about. We had Champ Bailey on our show, and Trey, can you recall what Champ said about Terry?
Oh yeah, of course. Well, first he said a lot of great things about you, Coach. That's when we met you. I told you I spoke to you about Champ before I even spoke to you about anybody from the Falcons, because it made such an impact on me. But Champ, he just talked about how great of a person you were, and he talked about you being responsible for giving him the opportunity to play on both sides of the ball when he first got in the NFL. And he just talked about you guys' relationship. If you could speak on that some more and speak on Champ.
Well, Champ Bailey came to us with the Redskins. I was in the first round. We drafted him. We had a guy on the other side named Darryl Green, and I loved it, because I knew Darryl Green was one of the best corners in football, and I knew that every day that I go to work with him, my receivers I had, they had to come. They had to bring their lunch, because you're going to go against the best today. So what you get Sunday, ought to be a little easy. Then when we got Champ Bailey, we had two of them, because I knew this guy was special, And I used to watch Champ every day. You remember I told you guys a minute ago how Kyle Shanahan liked little quick guys, like to be
quick twitchy guys. Yep.
Champ Bailey would have been his. Listen, Kyle would come up with some kind of idea, man. Kyle would come up with something crazy and have 12 plays a game for a guy like Champ Bailey. He'd find a way, man. Because Champ was so quick, man, and so fast, lean, long arms, So I used to watch him when I was on the other side of the ball and I'm coaching my receivers. I used to watch him in practice every day, man. And I'd be salivating. Oh my God, this guy can play. Boy, this dude is good. Oh man, this guy's quick. Oh, this guy got long arms. Oh, his hands. So finally, man, and I talked to him and Darryl Green all the time, man. And we'd sit down and I talked to him about this and that, and how you defend this and how you defend that. And I was just close with him, And then finally, I took over as the interim head coach of the Redskins, and I think I took over as the interim head coach on Sunday night. They announced it on Tuesday, and Tuesday night about 8:00, I called Champ. Come here, man. Let's see if we can get you on the other side of the ball. And I didn't waste no time. The day they made me the interim head coach, I called him and I put in about 3 plays for him. And I said, it ain't gonna be that complicated. I'm gonna give you these 3 plays, just to learn these. And I give him about 3 pass plays, and I give him 1 running play. And I said, listen, we get out here on about the 7, 8, 9 yard line, probably 6, 7, 8 yard line. I said, we're gonna line up in tight eye right. I said, I'm just gonna pitch it to you. We're just gonna turn and pitch it. It's one way. I don't even want you thinking about it. We're gonna run it to the right. We ain't going left. I said, when I pitch it to you, I don't care if we don't block nobody. I said, you run like you're running from the police. You take off and run to that corner of that flag as fast as you can get there. Don't look for nobody to come block for you. You ain't waiting for no blockers. It's you and that free safety. Who gonna get to that flag over there the fastest? And the quarterback got there, blue 7. And when he said that second blue 7, the free safety stepped up close to the line as if he gonna dive over the pile, And I said, he got no chance. He got no chance because he don't have an angle. He done lost it. So when we pitched that ball to Champ, bam, we pitched it out there. The right guard pulled to lead him. The center was coming around to lead him. Champ scored. By the time them guys got around to hit their block, Champ was standing up in the end zone dancing. All I could do was laugh, man. Then we came out. We threw him a hitch. Bam. He caught that hitch. He gained about 12. About 3 plays later, we called that hitch in the corner press. He took off. We threw him a quick fade. He caught that for about 28.
Wow.
I said, man, this is as good as it get. You know what I mean? But I had learned that, from a guy named Al Davis. And that's why I tell people too, I think the greatest thing that ever happened to me in my football career is that I started off with a guy named Al Davis. And by being with that guy, I learned so much football, man. It was phenomenal. The only thing I said that's different, that was a little bit screwy, was Al Davis always believed point blank, my guy is better than your guy. I'm going to teach him what we doing, and I'm going to let him beat you. And we ain't going to listen. We ain't trying to over-strategize this thing. We ain't overthinking it. We ain't putting all these creative, My guy going to line up and beat your guy. You know why? Because my guy is better. And when I get him messed up on you, he going to beat you. And I learned that from Al Davis. And, of course, he had a guy named Cliff Branch that we did all that stuff with. So I just took Champ and said, let's go, man. We're going to do it, And then, we did it. It worked, and we made a lot of plays, and he made a lot of money, And then years later, I was there, and, again, now I was the interim head coach, and I had a guy named Deion Sanders. And I took Deion Sanders, and we played Dallas, and we threw him 5 balls. I think he caught four for about 90,
Wow.
And I took him over there, So that's how I sit down and watch Deion now with that Hunter guy, with Travis Hunter he got in Colorado. Man, I wish I could get my hand on him. I wish I could get my hand on him.
Hey, let me ask you something, Coach. This is such a great interview. We already had an hour, man. I can go on for another hour. I do want to ask you about 2012 with the Atlanta Falcons. That was the year I think we should have won the Super Bowl with you guys. The last game of the year, why did we play our starters? Can you explain that?
I don't remember that. Remind me.
Trey.
We didn't play our starters?
Yeah. In 2012, we had already locked up the first seed, but I think it was because Coach Smith, he wanted to let the starters play because we had the mishap in 2010 when we had the first seed, and that's the game John Abraham got hurt against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the last game of the season.
Okay. Who did we play that year though, B Rich? Was that the year
in the playoffs?
We lost to San
Seahawks
Francisco.
And the 49ers.
Yeah, we lost to the 49ers, right?
Yeah, but the last game of the year was
Tampa Bay.
Yeah. Tampa Bay. And John Abraham got hurt that game. And if we would have had him, I feel like we could have gave Colin Kaepernick a lot of pressure, man.
Gotcha. So what did you say? You said we did not play our starters?
No, we did. Why did he choose to play the starters the last game of the year when he could have given them rest?
Yeah, I can't answer that question for you from Mike's side of it, but from my side of it, this is me now. From my side of it, just like I told you, don't announce to all you people on the radio I'm stupid. Now listen to me. From my side of it, again, if you said we were playing on Friday, right? I want to win. If we got up and woke up Saturday morning, we'd be in the parking lot, I want to win. We had already won the division. We was already locked. My guys going to play. They might not play the whole game, but they're going to play. I don't like my guys to sit down and say, just like preseason, like today, nobody plays their veterans in any preseason game anymore. And then they come out like Deshaun Watson. Now everybody trying to figure out what's wrong with him. The boy had 0 snaps this whole entire preseason. I always like my guys to play. I always think to stay sharp, to be sharp, to stay sharp. You got to play. You got to risk injury. It ain't something you can coach against. I don't know, but the whole team, maybe John Abraham was one of those guys we definitely shouldn't have played because he's a veteran. But if one of my guys had got hurt, I would tell you I made the decision to play him because I always believe I wouldn't have played him the whole game, but I always believe my guys. I always want my guys to play. That's just me. That's just me.
Coach, like I'm gonna tell you, I know I can speak for myself, of course, and I think I speak for B Rich when I tell you this has been phenomenal. Like we thank you so much because we met you at the Matt Ryan event and we spoke. I brought up Champ. We spoke briefly, and you said, you know what, I'll come on the show with you guys, and just for you to see something in us to want to come on the show and take the time and the stories that you have. So I only have 2 more questions before we get off. I did want to just say thank you first. I want to take the time to say thank you on behalf of myself, B Rich, and everybody in our community. Like I said, we have a lot of other guys who do a lot of streaming and do a lot of podcasting, and a lot of them are chiming in and just really appreciating the nuggets that you're giving us. Two things I want to ask you. The first, will you give us another opportunity to come on with us and talk some ball another time in the future? If we can.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, Trey. Listen, I just am who I am. I tell people all the time, man. It's hard for people it's hard for me to wake up in the morning and look in the mirror and go from point A to point Z. You know what I mean? It's hard for me myself to wake up in the morning. Okay, let me say this to you. So B Rich asked me when he started, Coach, you got anything you're doing that you want to sell and you want us to say a little bit? No. I got a documentary that I'm working on right now with a group of people that tells my NFL life story. You got me? And I'll say this to you. It's hard for me to get up in the morning and think about when I was 10, 11, 12 years old. I was a little young boy. I would be in people's yard cutting grass. I had no shirt on. I had some black boots on, thigh-high black boots, rubber boots. We wore those because of snake biters, he's going to bite that boot. I had some short pants on, no shirt, and a little afro. And I would cut 2-3 yards on a weekend, and I charged the people $1.25 to cut the yard. And it didn't matter how big that yard was. You understand? And I went from that little bitty town. I went to the elementary school. I went to high school. My high school was from 8th grade, not 9, from 8th grade to 12. And we had 400 students in that class, in that whole school, I mean. My graduating class was like 35. It was 35 of us.
Wow.
I was all-American in basketball. I was all-American in baseball. I was all-world in football. I tell people, one of my claim to fame, again, as a quarterback in high school, which is what I played, I was 44-4. But one of my greatest moments in my high school career, I played a guy named Doug Williams in basketball.
All right.
He was a class a little bit class double A. I was class A. We used to play all of the classes. We didn't care. We beat everybody. But I played against Doug in the state championship game. He was playing center for his high school, and I was playing center for mine. And I jumped over his head and took one from him. And I love that picture because I was so high up. I was looking down at him. Hey, kid, what you doing down there? Right? and he raised his arm in the air, and he was Doug Williams back then, and he got a foul call on me, and I fouled out. And he tells everybody the great story of that. But he also tells people this other story. He told people that when he started football in high school, his sophomore year of high school, he wanted to be a defensive player, and he was playing free safety. And he said they played us in the game, and he tackled me. And that's the last time he ever played defense. He came up and tackled me. So,
man, that's a great story.
Coach, you did him like Bo did Bars, huh, Coach?
Exactly. So what I tell people, man, is to go from that little school, number one, and then I went to imagine this. I went to a white university, one of the largest white universities in the country. And I went to a white university that had like 30,000 students, and they had 28 blacks on the campus. And you know the first rule they told us, the first rule we had to abide by? They said you got to date in your race. And I asked, how am I dating my race when there's 7 of us and there's only 28 black students in the whole university, and none of them live on campus?
Wow.
And they said, well, that's why we got Southern University down the street. You got to go to Southern. Okay, cool, no problem. And I went to Southern. And then I broke every record that was there. And I got drafted by the world champion Raiders.
Wow.
And I played for Don Shula, the winningest coach in all of football. And then from that, a guy named Al Davis says, come here, I love you. And you'll be with me a long time. And I'm going to tell you what Al Davis told me. Here's what he told me. You come back and work with me. And he said, Terry, if you stick with me, he said, one day I'll make you a Hall of Fame coach. And I had no idea what he meant because it was only head coaches that would get inducted in the Hall of Fame. The NFL had a rule. They had a rule that no assistant coach can be inducted in the Hall of Fame. It was only great players, owners, and head coaches. Y'all follow me?
Yes.
And I want you to listen to me good. When I retired in 2022, I get a call from the Hall of Fame. And they said, Terry, we want you to know we are changing the rules. You will be the first assistant coach in NFL history to get inducted in the Hall of Fame.
You deserve it, man. You deserve it. You deserve it, man. Like
so all I have done is spend all the time I've got in my life reaching back to help people the way people help me. And I've always looked back, and nobody in America could ever in life tell you Terry got a racist bone in his body. That doesn't exist. You understand? But I do know the difference between a lot of my friends' complexion and my complexion. And I do know we got to help each other. And we got to do it over and over and over and over. Because if we don't, nobody else is going to do it. You understand? And I know that deep down inside, I've got the ability to help a lot of people. And I've got the ability to reach back and help a lot of people. Just like you guys that sit here tonight and listen to me, and I've given you guys 5 stories.
You gave us some gold.
I've given you 5 stories that you guys thought was, oh man, that was great. I've got another 500 I can give you, and you guys just say, wow, we thought we'd heard them all. You know what I mean? I've got more stories than America could dream of when it comes to this game called football. But I love fact. I love the fact, and I'll tell y'all what I tell people. I love the fact that I come from that little bitty town. Today, that if you go back to visit, that it's still all black. My high school never integrated. My high school is still all black. My elementary school is still all black. My town is still all black. We got no stop signs, no red light, no AM, PM, no police, no doctors, no chief, no. We got nothing in my hometown but love.
That's cool.
But I'll tell y'all what the greatest feeling in the world is. If I sent the box home tomorrow to my mom, you got me? When I signed it, I said to you, Mom, and I put the address down. It says Route 1, Box 730, Terry Court.
All right, then. Terry Court.
Terry Court. You understand? Ain't nothing feel better in the world than to be sending a box home from the Hall of Fame, NFL Hall of Fame, to my mama at my house at my address on my street that's been named after me.
That's awesome. That's awesome,
Coach.
Hey, hold on, Trey. I got a question, man.
Go ahead.
My favorite football player is Deion Sanders. Like, can you tell us some stories we don't know about him? Like something that's cool. Did you get a chance to coach him?
I'm gonna give you one.
All right.
Deion Sanders came over to the Redskins. When he came there, I was the assistant head coach, receiver coach, assistant head coach, offensive coordinator, but Norv called the plays. But on Saturday night, before games, Norv would tell me, Terry, you talk to him. I would give him the fire him up, let's go speeches. And there's one particular Saturday night we were playing Dallas in RFK. And instead of talking to the offense and instead of talking to the defense, I talked to the special team guys. And I give them guys my speech, and half of them guys I talked to started crying. They were so pumped up, ready to go. And Deion jumped up and he says, man, let me tell you something. One day, one of these owners going to wise up and give you a job. He said, I don't care how old I am, I'm going to come play for you because I know you're going to win. Dang, we that. We go ahead, we play. Like I told you now, I become the interim head coach. I put him on offense. I make some plays with him. Deion Sanders, I tell my kids, I don't care where you see him. If you see me in church, go hug him and kiss him and tell him my daddy love you. I tell him I don't care where they see him. Go hug him and kiss him and say, my daddy love you. I tell people, listen to me one more time. I'm doing a documentary on me, right? As I'm sitting and talking to you guys, we're traveling around, me and this little TV crew. We're interviewing guys talking about me and my career and my life and how I touched their soul. And as I'm speaking to you guys today, we have interviewed 74 guys. Of the 74 we've interviewed, 20 of them is in the Hall of Fame. And they got 37 Super Bowl rings among that group.
Wow.
Okay? But listen to me good. Of all 74, 75 guys we've interviewed, Marcus Allen, Bo Jackson, Tim Brown, Mike Haynes, Hall of Fame, Rose, whatever you want, Rose Bowl winners, all of them. Pick as many as you want. Of all those 75 guys, there's one guy that ever put his tennis shoes on and walked down the hall and jumped on top the owner's desk and told the owner, if you don't hire Terry Robiskie, it's because you're a racist. You don't like black coaches. Wow. And I will never play for you again if you don't hire him. That was Deion Sanders' message to Dan Snyder when I took over as the interim head coach, and Snyder had to make a decision if he's going to keep me or not. Deion Sanders went to his office, jumped on top of his desk, and told him, if you don't hire that man, I will never set foot in this building again. 2 weeks or 3 weeks later, Dan Snyder announced he's hiring Marty Schottenheimer. Deion Sanders called him on the phone. Dan, you have a pen and a piece of paper? Yeah, write this down. 06475894622. Okay, all right. That number I just gave you, that's my bank account routing number. I think you owe me $17 million. Send me my money. I ain't never coming to set foot in that building again.
Wow.
And he never did.
Wow.
Wow.
But he went in and told him before he hired anybody, if you don't hire this man here, something wrong with you. You got to be a racist if you don't hire Terry Robiskie. But of the 75 people that I told you guys on that video that told you how much they love me and how much they care for me and how much they love me, Ain't but one guy ever jumped on top of that desk. That was Deion Sanders.
Wow.
Now, man. Be Rich. I told you, Be Rich. I told you a minute ago. I gave you 2-3 stories. I got 1,000 of them. And then every time we say bye, you say, give me one more, Terry. Give me one more. So I just gave you another one. And I told you, every time I give you one, it's going to top the last one. Every time I give you one, it'll top the last one.
I feel like we family, Coach. Thank you, man.
I'm with you, bro.
Coach. Like, just thank you. I had another question I was going to ask you, but I'm going to let us end there.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Now, okay. Well, I wanted to ask you, you correct me if I'm wrong. Did you have a son or some sons that also were in the NFL?
Yeah.
Did you have some kids that were in the NFL? So,
yeah.
So
in my life, I've got 3 sons, and they're my heart, my joy. But my oldest one, we grew up in Cleveland. When I was with the Browns, I was there. They all were born here in Los Angeles when I was with the Raiders. And then we left from here and we went to Washington, D.C., and they were growing up there. And then we left from there and we went to Cleveland, Ohio. When we were in Cleveland, they started playing football. My oldest one became a pretty good receiver. I used to work with him all the time. He became a really good guy, really good receiver. He ended up going to Ohio State. Went to Ohio State and played for 2 national championships, set some records there, played as a freshman. Coach Tressel loved him, and I love Coach Tressel today. But I tell all people all the time, kids that goes to Ohio State, they may go in there as a kid, they come out as grown men. That school is phenomenal to me. My son went there, like I said, played for 2 national championship games. He got drafted the first pick of the 2nd round by the Cleveland Browns. He played for them for about 2-3 years. He got cut. He played for Detroit Lions. He got cut. He went to Jacksonville Jaguars. He got cut. Then he came and played for me. He played for me, which was phenomenal. And he played for me for about 6-7 games. Got his pension by hanging out with me in Atlanta. And that was fantastic. And then the next year he went to training camp with the Tennessee Titans. And he didn't make it. And he said, Dad, I'm tired of getting cut and bounced around. I've got it in 6 years. I got enough. So he retired and called it quits. My second one, my middle one, came out of school about 3-4 years later. He ended up playing. He went to training camp with the Washington Redskins, played a little bit with them, didn't make it, got cut early, came out to the Raiders, went to training camp, finished up with the Raiders. He was playing offensive center, and I told him when he started at the center position, I said, it's going to be hard on you because he was the offensive center, but he was probably about 6'2", maybe 6'3", about 310, and he had short arms. And I told him, history tell us when you protecting that quarterback, we like long, tall guys with long arms so you can keep the ball away from your body and help protect our quarterback. I told him his arm was a little bit too short for the center position, and he was a little bit too short. Probably wouldn't make it, and he didn't make it. And then my last one, he also was a receiver, but that last one was a little bit more like his mom. He was a brand child. He get mad if he get a B in class. He get mad if he get a B in class. So he wanted to do that at Bramstone. He played and had a lot of fun in college, but he didn't have desire to go play in pros. He wanted to be a professor and do that thing. So he played at a school called Western Illinois outside of Chicago and got in 4 years, had fun, had a good time. And then since then, he just kind of come out. He's in the business world. So he's doing that. But that was my 3 sons, and that's the history of those guys going into it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Football has not only meant a lot to you, but it's meant a lot to your family. Yes. And that's why I wanted to ask you that. I heard somebody in the background sound like a little girl saying "Bye, Papa," so I can tell what family means to you.
That's my oldest son. That's my oldest son's son. So that's my first grandchild, and that's my first grandchild. He's my grandson.
That's awesome.
My son got married about 2 years ago and had this little dude who's right now he's 18, I think about 18, 19 months old. And,
still a little one, still real young.
Yeah. He's barely speaking, barely talking, but he owns the world. People can say what they want. He owns the world. He's
I bet
my
he
dude.
does.
His daddy gets mad at me every day. His daddy just can't stand it. I go pick him up.
Of course he does.
I live the finer life. I go pick him up. I take him to a steakhouse in Beverly Hills called Steak. I'm gonna give them a little pub called Steak 48. When I go there, there's a booth. They know it on Thursday night. There's a booth for me and him. We go there. I let him walk across the table if he wants to. He walk on top of the table if he wants to. We got our own booth. We go in there,
and that's why.
And I'll tell you this one story. So I go and I take him in there, and I get him some salmon and some lobster mashed potatoes. So his mom and his daddy goes to celebrate something about 2 months ago. They go over there to celebrate. They go over there. They get a little seat. They get a table. They sit down. So they ordered him some mashed potatoes and this and that, this and that. They fed him the mashed potatoes and they give it to him and said, "Pooh!" He spit it out. His daddy got mad. I thought he eat mashed potato. His mama, I thought he eat mashed potato too. The waitress says he'll only eat mashed potatoes if you put lobster in it. It's got to be lobster mash. He didn't want it because he didn't have no lobster in it. He told him, no, wasn't no lobster in it. I don't want this crap, you know. But he's my dude.
Right.
Man.
That's right. Y'all taught him right, man.
That's my boy. That's my dude.
Yeah, that's what grandparents do. So that's why your son frustrated, because your son see you letting your grandson do things that you never would let any of your boys get away with.
Never do. Absolutely. No question.
Well, man, it's been great, man. Like, I've learned so much about you, and like, hey, it's so much more I could learn from you, man. And then, like I say, when you see us, man, you know, you family, man. So thank you.
No problem, man. You guys just hit me up and let me know when, and if I'm free, I'll do it. I have a hard time telling people no. So you guys just hit me up, and like I said, if I'm free, I'll be more than happy to come on and do whatever y'all want. We just chop it up a little bit and talk some more about life and kids. You know what I mean? So just hit me up anytime y'all need somebody, bro. All right?
Thank you, Coach. Ladies and gentlemen, that is future Hall of Fame coach Terry Robiskie. Y'all give it up for him.
That's not a future. Now, Trey, boy, I'm already in. There ain't no future.
Oh, you already in? You already in?
I'm already in.
They already put you in?
They put me in 2022.
Bam! There you go.
They inducted me in 2022.
Hall of Fame coach Terry Robiskie. Y'all give it up for the Hall of Fame coach. There you go.
Hey, all right, have a good one, man.
Hey, it's Amy Brown from The Bobby Bones Show. Join me in supporting St. Jude Children's Research Hospital for a chance to win a trip to meet Megan Maroney at the 2025 iHeart Country Festival in Austin, Texas on May 3rd, hosted by Bobby Bones. We're going to hook you up with tickets, flights, hotel, food credits, and a meet and greet with Megan Maroney. Take action now to support St. Jude and help cure childhood cancer, and you're going to be entered for a chance to win. Visit iHeartCountryTrip.com to learn more.